Welcome back, everybody. I picked up these 4 lots from a local estate auction. I was not able to go there and look at in person in advance, so some were kind of obvious by photos, and others are going to have a few more surprises. So let's take a look. Okay, first up is lot 671, and 671 is described as screw and pipe extractor set, Black & Decker jigsaw kit, socket holder, Craftsman circular saw blades, scour pads, and multi-tool. All right, first up, we got this Black & Decker. I think this is like a jigsaw, scroll saw. It's a 7536 jigsaw kit. This is the older, I believe, aluminum housing jigsaw. Not something I'm going to mess with. I'll probably bring it back to a local consignment auction where I usually lot a bunch of tools together. Next, we have a box with a proto. I'm going to guess this is the one they were saying is a screw and bolt extractor. Okay. It says 10-piece screw pipe and extractor set. So if we look down here, we got 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we got 10 pieces in there. So I rearranged a couple pieces. It's all there. It all looks brand new. Maybe there's a little bit of use on 1 or 2 of them, but pretty nice looking set. I've never used extractors like this. I don't know if people like these better than the screw type that kind of reverse thread into a drilled hole, or if they like these better. But pretty nice looking set. Okay, next up we have these socket rails here, made by Chicago Force. I think they're just made in Taiwan, but yeah, they still usually work pretty good. I don't really like this style rail, especially if they ever get rusted. They're really hard to get the sockets off of. Next up we have a metric Z wrench, they're calling it, from Clamp Manufacturing. Basically it's just I guess a T-handle set of hex wrenches. Actually kind of a nice set. Probably keep those. Next we have a little pack of scour pads. Those are good for cleaning up tools, especially Craftsman tools that maybe have a little rust on them, because Craftsman have such a rough surface that if you scratch a little bit with one of these, you really can't tell. Got a little box in here. I'm gonna guess this is for snap ring. Yep, little snap ring ends in there. Those I'll definitely keep. They come in handy. We got this little box here. It feels empty. Let's see, cash box. It is missing the tray, but I will actually use this as a cash box. I do sell some stuff on Marketplace, and I'll put this on the front porch and just tell them to leave the money in the box. So I'll actually end up using this. I was gonna buy one, but this one's a little banged up, but it's free and it'll work just fine. All right, next we have this little Chicago Electric oscillating tool. I'm gonna guess that's the one they sell at Harbor Freight. Is that where they sell Chicago Electric, or Menards or something like that? I actually have one of these battery powered, so I'll get rid of this one. This is the type of thing I'll put in a lot with, like that first Black & Decker jigsaw, and then I have a local consignment auction that sells for me. So because I don't have any need for a second or third one. What is this down here? It looks like blades for a dado cabinet door lip cutter. 3 blades. Yeah, that's what that is. So those are for the, well, I shouldn't say a dado. It's for that blade that has the different interchangeable profiles. Let's see. We actually have a few sets here. I don't know if it'll be in here. This is, they're calling it a circular saw set. As simple as driving a nail. Okay. Not sure I've ever seen one of these. Oh. So we got instructions there. There's a piece missing here, but I wonder if it's already on here. Possibly. Definitely looks like that's the one that belongs in there. So I don't know if anyone's ever used one of these or if they work. I've never seen one before, but it's definitely interesting. I do like the old graphics on here. So just even as a piece to put up on a shelf, it's kind of cool. Oh, here we go. This is the, wait a second, we do have one more of these boxes in. that does have a few more of the snap ring ends in it. All right, so this is the molding head cutter. This is what these blades go to. Let's see how many they gave us. Okay, so let's see, this one probably goes here. Is that an extra one maybe? These look the same here, but this is a pretty complete set. Now, I don't have any use for a set like this, so I'll probably sell it. But I think they actually have this one here and this one here. So I don't have a use for a set like this. I'll probably just sell it. You know, I don't plan on cutting my own moldings with my table saw. And I don't even know if people still use these or just collect them or what, but I suppose some people use them. But I won't be using this one. And then the last thing in this box, we do actually have a dado set, chrome edge. So this is a old school set. I'm going to guess it's not carbide. Doesn't look like it was used too much. Some of the logo is worn off, but very little. Or either that or it wasn't set very deep. It looks like it's all here. And yeah, I don't think those are carbide tipped. But again, I have a nicer dado set. I think it's made by, I think it's a Diablo maybe. So I'll just sell this one. But I think for $25, that proto set alone is probably worth what I paid for the box. All right, next up we have lot 790. 790 is listed as Snap-on and Mac assorted wrenches. I paid $135 plus fees, so that's going to be somewhere right around $160. This one was obviously pretty easy to see what it included. First out of this box, we have either a set or most of a set of Mac metric wrenches. I did go through them quick, and it is missing the 13 millimeter. And then not all these are from the same series. This 7 is a longer version, newer version. We do have 12 Mac wrenches there. All right, and let's go through the individual wrenches. Here we have a eTorx Snap-on 1012 eTorx wrench. 13/16 combination wrench. We have an older 5/8, older 9/16, a newer 11/16. We have a Mac knuckle saver 15 millimeter, and older Snap-on 1/2 inch. 7/16 Snap-on, a 3/8 Snap-on, and a 1/2 inch Snap-on. So although it's mismatched with different ages, we have a pretty good start to a set of Snap-on wrenches in that box. All right, there's no sticker on this next lot, but this is lot 658. It's described as hex keys, wrenches, and some hand tools, some marked Snap-on. I paid $22.50 plus fees. First thing I'm going to do here is separate out the hex keys. I'm going to take a look quick to see if they have any names on them, because I'm not going to pull them out one by one, of course. Okay, so I just took a real quick look. A couple are marked Allen. Quite a few are marked just USA. I have a couple here marked Craftsman. Got one that was marked Snap-on. And then I did see one that was marked West Germany. So that's kind of cool. So then next out of this box we have what looks to be a cheap multi-tip screwdriver. We got a Vaco, is it ST49? Now that I believe is for the headlight spring, for grabbing onto the spring and hooking it into the headlight bucket. I think that's what that tool is for. This looks like a bicycle tool. But I think that's a bicycle tool if I had to guess. I'll have to look it up. This next one, I'm not sure what we have here. this looks like some sort of a press. If it has to do with bicycles, I would say it's a chain breaking tool. If any of you know what that is, just go ahead and leave it in the comments. But that's my best guess. Have a swage lock, I think they call it. I believe this is basically a ratcheting open end wrench, but definitely kind of a neat tool. It's a 9/16 and 11/16. Got a wooden handle screwdriver. Not seeing a name on it. Little stubby, flat tip. You got a Vermont America. I believe this is for like putting some screw threads into, well, whatever you're trying to get them into, I guess. Wood, plastic, metal. I think that's what that's for. I don't think I've ever had one of those before. Got a little wire brush that's seen better days. Here's a neat little tool. No name. I mean, it looks like a little pruner. It seems well made. Don't know what else it would be for. Have another KD, little brush tip on the end. Another one of these. Well, I don't know. This almost looks like a sewing tool, but I don't know if it's also for the. I don't know what this is for. Now I'm starting to lean towards a tire repair tool. I could be totally off on all those. I don't know if it's broke or if that's how it's supposed to be. It does say made in the USA. This is kind of an interesting piece here. Let's see, made in the USA. I don't see any other markings on it. This, I believe, is like an anvil. It would go into a ratchet, I believe, that would have the push anvil where you push it one way and it's forward, and one way it's reverse. But I think it's actually like an extension, although it is a hex bit. Huh. Well, I guess if it was used for hex bit sockets, which is what this bag seems to have. So I'm thinking that's what that's for. Now, there's not many sockets in there that would fit this, so I think the other end would go into a ratchet. Not many sockets here that fit that. It's all a bunch of the old hex bit sockets that you'd use like with an Allen wrench. Yeah, there might be a couple more sizes in here that fit this. So I do think that goes with those. Probably a hard piece to find if you needed it. Oh, we got a Vaco, I believe it says. Phillips stubby. And then you got these real small stubbies. Don't know if they're marked. I'm not seeing any markings. Two of those. Got a little hex key set. I can't make the name out just by looking at it. I think it's focused on there, but even I can't see it through the camera. This one is a Great Neck set. This one is I think it's Eklund. Have a Matco flat tip stubby in here. Now this is likely a snap-on. Yep, there's the part number. You can pick that up. I think it's SD11A. I believe this came in the little 1/4-inch set. These things on eBay sell for around $30. So more than I paid for the box. So that was a good find. Also in this box we have a Stanley Phillips stubby, a few more hex wrenches. We got a tap here for Vermont America. Screwdriver, well, not a screwdriver, it's a snap-on HE52. Now this, again, I believe is for a headlight spring. And then finally in this box we have this battery spreader. And it also looks like it has a flat tip screwdriver and, I don't know, maybe an 8mm or so. Maybe that's bigger than an 8. About an 8mm wrench on there. And I do see it is a snap-on. This thing's like brand new, but of course it's probably fairly old. So that again is probably worth more than the entire box. All right, then last but certainly not least is 806. 806 is described as snap-on and max sockets, star bits, hex key attachments. I paid $310 plus fees. That would bring it somewhere close to $350. That is a lot of money. So I'm hoping there's a lot of goodies. Of course, I could see most of what was in here. I could see roughly the condition. I couldn't tell if it had like owner's marks and so on, but let's take a look at what we got. So first up here, we have a rail of sockets. Obviously not a set. We have some Mac impact sockets there. And then we have some Mac chrome sockets, obviously, but I don't know if this is like a semi-deep. I know back in the day some of the Macs were pretty short, but that's a newer Mac socket. Because this one is a 15, that one next to it's a 14. And look at the difference in length on those. So maybe that's a semi-deep. Then we have some more metric deep sockets. And then we move on to some snap-on shallow. There's a few metrics in there and a few SAE. And a 3/4 deep. And I do see that some of these have little markings on them, like you see there. And based on the other tools I bought from this auction, those are owner's markings, which I don't know how you would tell owner's markings from just a standard scratch or gouge in your tool, but apparently that's how they marked them, because a lot of the tools have that on them. Next up, we have another rail, also mixed. This is a specialty socket of some sort. Here on the end it's a Mac, and next to it we have a Mac an 8-point double square socket. Then we have some SAE snap-on, a couple of snap-on, I believe they call those pipe thread. I think that's what they call them. They got a square opening. And then on the end here we have some with the oblong, the oval opening. They're made by Mac. Alright, next out of that box we have most of a set, I think, but as you can see, like the markings here again, they're just so random. Like I don't know how a person would know that that's his socket. But this is a set of E-Torx, external Torx. Mostly are snap-on. This one on the end here is a Matco. Alright, next out of that box we have a set, or most of a set, of snap-on, the tamper-proof or theft-resistant Torx. Some are a little rusty, but those usually clean up pretty easy. I see this one on the end here is just a regular Torx. And then next up out of that box we have a regular set of Torx. This one has a T45 in it already, so there's an extra one here, but this one's not missing the T45. And that's most of a set. It might be missing one or two. Next we have well, I shouldn't say a set, most of a set of snap-on SAE shallow 6-point sockets, 3/8 drive. There is a Mac in there as well. Again, you can see the owner's marks, and it's just so random. Like I don't know, I think it's kind of strange. If I was ever going to mark my sockets, I would probably just stamp them on the bottom side. Okay, next out of there we have Mac and snap-on hex bits. The Mac look like they're metric, if I can find the size. Yeah, I'm seeing metric sizes on the Mac. And then the snap-on are SAE. And then we have, I think they call it a triple square socket on there, snap-on. I'll admit I'm kind of excited about this next piece here. It's a set of Craftsman 1/4-inch metric swivels. Obviously these are the older, made in the USA. This one looks pretty nasty. This one on the end here is pretty screwed up. It looks like they have some condition issues. Like some of the chrome is kind of flaking, but these sets are hard to find. The next rail out of that box has mostly Mac deep 3/8 drive sockets. It does have a snap-on here. I think these are metrics. I think all the sizes I've seen so far are metric. These are 6-point sockets. I did find a snap-on Torx bit in there. There was a rail here with a missing, well, I should say an open spot. I'm going to guess that's either an extra or the one that's missing there. Okay, next up we have this rail of snap-on 3/8 drive SAE 6-point sockets. Looks like most of a set. It is 11 pieces. That sounds about the right size for a basic set. And last out of that box we have this set of swivels, it looks like. I see Matco on this one. There's a Matco. This one's a 9/16. So maybe I'm just going to dump them out. Okay, so there was 6 pieces in there. By looking at the amount of spots there should be 7. It is missing the 5/8. It is 3/8 to 3/4. So if we just look at the sockets, I know they're not all sets. I realize that there's mixed brands and missing pieces. But if we just look at the total number of sockets included here, I'm coming up with about 110. So basically I paid around $3.20 a piece or so. So in my opinion, that's a good deal. It's not a great deal, but it's not too much. Because you know, if you went on the truck, I mean, one socket is $20. Obviously these are used. Some of them have owner's marks. Some might have a little rust. But I still think that, you know, just over $3 per item. Not a bad deal. Not a great deal, like I said, but not a horrible deal. So that's going to be all for this one. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.